Hello friends, welcome to Raja's Data Engineering. In this video, I'm going to explain Azure Data Warehousing Architecture. I have already posted the first part in my previous video, that is massively parallel processing. And in this part 2, I'm going to explain different distribution methods available in Azure Data Warehousing. If you have missed the first part of the video, I highly recommend to go through that because it gives the basics of Azure Data Warehousing Architecture, that does massively parallel processing. So in order to proceed with the distribution method, it is very important to have knowledge on massively parallel processing. I'm adding I button here. If you have missed the first part of the video, you can go through that. Also, I, I just recap the first part of the architecture here, that is massively parallel processing. In MPP, the user submits application. The application could be query or stored procedure. When user submits an application, it connects the control node through ODPC or JDPC connection string. And control node consists of MPP engine and DMS. MPP engine, that is massively parallel processing engine, that is responsible to split the user code or query into multiple smaller tasks. Once that is splitted, those tasks can be executed in parallel in the distributed computing node. Coming to DMS, that is nothing but the data movement service. So if we have to perform certain operation, we have to group the data. We have to move the data across the nodes. So in order to move the data across the nodes, DMS plays key role. Coming to compute node, that is responsible to execute the code or execute the command that received from MPP engine. And this compute node, this is scalable or elastic in nature. So compute node can contain only one node or it can scale out up to 60 nodes. Compute node is consisting of SQL engine plus DMS. SQL engine, that is for processing, query processing engine, and DMS, that is to move the data across the nodes. And when compute node receives the command from MPP engine, first it reads the data from the storage layer. Let's say it has to process something on the employee table. Then compute node will first read the data from the storage layer. So the data is actually stored in the form of .mdp file. Once compute node receives the read the data from storage layer, it will split the data into 60 partitions. So the 60 partitions, the data is getting splitted into 60 pieces, and each partition would be distributed across this compute node. So if you're going to have only one node, then all the 60 partitions will get into one particular compute node. In case we are going to have 60 compute node in our application, which means each partition will get into one particular compute node. So this is how the distribution happens. And in this particular video, in today's architecture, we are going to focus how this distribution happens. When I say distribution, this compute node reads the data from the storage layer, and the data is getting split into 60 pieces. So what is the logic? On based on which functionality the split happens. So that is called distribution method or distribution concept. So in this video, I'm going to explain how the distribution happens. So in Azure Data Warehousing Architecture, there are three types of distribution methods. It's distribution method, then our round robin. The third one is replicated distribution method. These are the three different distribution methods. So let me explain. So let us understand, okay, there is a storage layer and compute node is trying to read the data from the storage layer. Let's say, as per the query submitted by MPP, and it has to read employee fact table. Employee fact table that is containing billions of records. So what happens is, if we have any fact table containing billions of, or it's a big table, then we can go with Ash algorithm. Now, Ash distribution method, Ash is nothing but algorithm. When we give some certain input, it will give deterministic value as output. So, for example, when we have to split this employee fact table, maybe we can pass key employee ID as a key into Ash algorithm. So it will create a deterministic value, which means it will always group the related or relevant data into one particular partition. For example, in this employee table, let us assume this is for employee payslip table, and there is employee who is working for 10 years in the company, which means he will have at least 120 pay slips, which means there would be 120 separate records. So when we apply Ash algorithm, when we pass employee ID as input for this Ash algorithm, it would always produce same value for those 120 records, which means those 120 records for particular employee will get into one particular compute node, which means all the data would be grouped, or relevant data would be always stored as part of single partition. This is ash algorithm, and ash algorithm is good for calculation. After splitting the employee table into 60 pieces, and also let us assume our compute layer is working on full capacity, which means 60 nodes. So what happens is, when we split the data into 60 pieces and we have distributed across all the 60 compute node, then we are doing certain operations. Let's say group by. Then group by basically it has to collect all the relevant data into particular node. So in case we haven't grouped the data already, what happens is there would be data movement between these compute node using DMS service, which means data swap or data shuffle, that is always costly operation. Then that is going to hit our performance. So this is the simple logic. If you have a big fact table and you want to group the data, you want to keep relevant data based on a particular key into single partition, then we can always go for hash partition. So this fact table, that is right candidate for hash distribution. Coming to round robin, this is a second method. Let's say we are having some transaction data. The master fact table is containing billions of record, and today's transaction data, it got only delta data, incremental data, that is containing few millions of record. So first we have to put the data into staging layer of our data warehouse. In the staging layer, mostly we are not performing any operations. Simply blindly we are moving the data, we are copying the data into staging layer, then we will do business processes after that only. So for these kind of temporary or staging related information, we can go with round robin. So let me explain the logic. Round robin, let us assume there are 120 records in this transaction table, and we have 60 compute nodes. What happens is it will start distributing the first record into the compute node 1, and the second record goes to compute node 2, and similarly the 60th record will go to the compute node 60. And once the first round is completed, then it will start the second round. Then 61st record will go to the compute node 1, and 62nd record will go to the compute node 2. Similarly, 120th record would go to compute node 60. Now this is second round is completed. Then it will start with the third round. So this is called round robin. So it will blindly distribute the data uniformly. Okay, which means it is not understanding the data. It is not grouping or segregating the data based on the relevance. It is blindly distributing the data on round robin basis. So that is why this is called round robin. So round robin is suitable if you're not performing any joining, or we are not performing any operations. This is simply for staging purpose. Then we can go with round robin. And the third method, that is replicated. Let me explain replicated. So let's say we have submitted one query, and that query is containing two tables, joining, maybe employee fact table and department dimension table. So the query is containing these two tables. So in order to perform the joining, compute node should read those two data files from the storage layer. First, it will consume employee fact table, and that would be split into 60 pieces, and all those 60 pieces would be distributed across 60 compute nodes. And coming to department dimension, let's say dimension table is very small, and it is containing maybe 100 MB of data. So it is already very small table, and it is not good idea to split this department table into 60 pieces and distributing across these 60 compute nodes. Instead of that, what we can do is, this is already very small table. So what we can do is we can send the local copy, the complete copy of this table into 60 compute nodes, which means we are making 60 copies of this table and putting it into all the compute nodes. So each and every compute node will contain its own processor and memory. So this smaller dimension table will fit into the memory of each compute node. So what is the advantage of this? In case this is already smaller table, if you're going to split this into 60 pieces, and we are going to spread across these 60 compute nodes, and if you have to perform any lookup for this fact table, then these 60 partitions would be scanned. But instead of that, if you're going to keep local copy of this complete table into all the nodes, what happens is there would be one partition of employee table here. Then if it has to make some lookup, then it can directly check its local copy. which means the particular partition, it does not need need to scan the dimension table across other nodes, because it is already containing the full copy of the dimension table or smaller table. So this is the advantage. The process will be quicker, and also there won't be any swap, or no need to scan other nodes. So that is advantage of this replicated distribution method. I hope you understood these three methods. Now there are three different methods, and each and every method is suitable for different use cases. Employee table, Ash distribution method, that is actually suitable for big data or fact tables. And coming to round robin, that is always suitable for uh, staging or temporary tables. And replicated, this distribution method is suitable for any smaller dimension tables, so that we can make full copy, we can replicate the data across all other nodes. So let me summarize these three methods, which, what is the use case for which scenario we can go for which distribution type. So first one, replicated. Let me start with replicated. Replicated, as I told earlier, this is suitable for smaller dimension tables in star schema. So the ideal size is, the size of the dimension should be less than 2 GB. If it is going to, even though it is dimension table, still, if it is going to exceed 2 GB, then it is not good idea to go with replicated. And even though it is a smaller dimension table, less than 2 GB, but still replicated will not be suitable for these conditions. These are the exceptions. Let's say if we are going to make many DML operations, such as insert, delete, update, or merge, then what happens? If in the process, we have submitted code, and also we have made replicated across 60 different nodes. Now we are making some DML operation on the dimension table. What happens? Now there are already 60 copies. If you have to make changes in one table, which means that should be done across all compute nodes. So 60 times each operation should be performed 60 times across different nodes. That is the reason, if you think there would be any changes or any DML operation on the dimension table, then it's not good idea to go with replicated mode, because it will create, we have to perform this DML operation across multiple nodes. It will hit the performance. The second one, you change the data warehouse units so frequently. I think in my previous video, I have explained about data warehousing units. Data warehousing units is nothing but compute node. Each compute node is equivalent to 100 data warehousing units. And when we are working on full capacity, which means 60 compute node, then the data warehousing unit would be 6,000 data warehousing units. So, which means, in case in our application, if you are going to change this compute node so frequently, then that is not suitable. Why? Because let us assume, initially there are 10 compute nodes and there would be 10 local copies. And then later our application scales out and there are 20 compute nodes, which means the process has to create 10 more copies, and that would be kept into the new 10 nodes. And let us assume after some time the node number of node goes to 60. What happens? Again the local copy, again the copy of this dimension table should be filled across all the cluster nodes. So that is the reason, this is not good if you are going to change the compute node so frequently in your application. And the third one, you only use 2-3 columns, but your table has too many columns. This also I explained in my first part of the video. In Azure data warehousing architecture, there is a concept of columnar storage, which means the data would be stored as a column object. In a table, we are having 5 columns, which means it would be stored as 5 separate objects. So let us assume in your replicated table, in your dimension table, you are having hundreds of columns, but your operation as per your query, you are going to use only 2-3 columns, which means in order to use 2-3 columns, unnecessarily you are copying hundreds of columns into each node, into each compute node, then that is not good. So in case you have too many columns in your dimension table, but you are going to use only few columns for your computation, then it's not good idea to go with replicated. Then the last one, if you have index in your replicated table or dimension table, don't go for replicated distribution method. The reason is, if you're going to make any changes in the table, which means and it will always update the index table also. Index table is associated with dimension table. So if we are making change in one place, which means it has to update the index in all the compute nodes. Let's say you are having 60 compute nodes, which means it has to make changes to 60 places. So that is the reason. These are the exceptions. If you're performing any DML operations, don't go for replicated. If your data warehouse units will change so frequently, don't go for this. And also, if you're going to use only only few columns, but your table is containing too many columns, then don't go for replicated method. And finally, if you're using index in your dimension table, don't go for replicated method. And coming to round robin that is suitable for temporary or staging table. And in round robin, there won't be any obvious joining key, or there is no good candidate column. So this is what I told. In a staging table, generally we don't perform any operations. So simply blindly we are distributing the data. Only our aim is to distribute the data uniformly. So that is the reason that can be achieved by round robin. And if you want performance, very good performance, then don't go for round robin, which means round robin the performance would always be very slow, and that is expected. Why? Because we haven't distributed the data based on a particular key, but instead of that, blindly we distributed using round robin method, which means if you have to perform certain operations group by, then the data for a particular key will always won't be in a particular compute node. So the data should move across the cluster nodes. So that is the reason performance would always be slow for round robin method. And coming to Ash distribution method, this is suitable for fact tables. And if the uh, table size is greater than 2 GB, or even not only for fact table, even if the dimension table size is greater than 2 GB, then we can go with Ash table. And Ash, as per in Ash distribution method, the base for distribution method is key. Based on a particular key, we are distributing the data. For example, in employee table, based on employee ID, we are distributing the data. So a particular key, that is the base for Ash distribution mechanism. But in case the key would be updated, then this is not suitable. If you are going to already based on the Ash algorithm, the data is distributed based on a key. But if you are going to update that key, then you are completely collapsing the function. So if you think there would be any update to the distribution key, then don't go for Ash algorithm. Or if you have decided to go with Ash algorithm, then make sure there won't be any update to the distribution key. I hope you understood the differences, and for which scenario we have to go for which distribution type. So finally, I can show you the syntax. So let's say you are creating a fact table, okay, fact employee. Then it's a simple syntax. This is common across any database. Okay, it's a create table. Then you need to give table name. Within that, you have to give the list of columns along with the data type. And here at the end in Azure Synapse or Azure Data Warehousing, we have to give with keyword, and within that we have to give the distribution type, and the syntax is distribution. Then again, this is syntax. If you're going to use Ash distribution method, then the keyword is Ash, and within Ash you have to give the distribution key based on which key you want to distribute the data. Or if you are going to use round robin, this is the syntax. We don't need to provide any key for round robin and replicate. Now simply we can give distribution equal to replicate. It's very simple. I hope you understood the different distribution methods available in Azure Data Warehousing concept. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this video, please subscribe this channel and don't forget to click on the bell button. Thank you.